Hi everyone, it's Marcy Bessaker. I'm just checking my video again. Welcome. I hope everyone had a fantastic Memorial Day. I'm just checking my sound and everything. Let me try and get on my YouTube here. Should be live. There we go. There we go. Let me turn my sound down. If you are here, I'd love it if you say hi. Oops, let me mute my... There we go. Let me turn my sound. There we go. All right. Looks like we are set. I'm going to be reading my chat on my phone again. My program that I use just does not like to be minimized. It's a little crazy. So if you're here, say hi. I understand I've got a few comments that said when you're on your cell phone, you can't comment. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know that. That is helpful. Today we are going to have a lot of fun. I have a fun project and I'm going to kind of show you how I went about. I started a project one way and then I ended up doing 2 and 3 other cards as I tried something else. I was like, oh, I don't have enough of this. I'm going to do this instead. And then I said, oh, I could do a card with that. So it's going to show you kind of how I evolved into the cards that I have. Thanks, Steph. And I'm going to show you some new product again, of course, and some old product that is going to be leaving. And so as of now, it's first come, first serve. If it's gone, it's gone. At some point, they were replenishing and ordering. If you ordered something and we didn't have it any longer, now it is not. Now it is gone. So if there's something that you see that you're interested in, go check and see if it's still there. And if it is, especially re-inkers, if you have some colors that you're interested in getting or keeping, and you need the re-inkers, think about that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. And let's get started. Let me get back to my one page. For some reason, just gets goofy. All right, so here we go. Today we're going to talk about fun techniques with the mini medallion die. And there's other techniques that we're going to be doing that is not with that die. So what we're going to do is, what I did is, the last, I think it was Sunday, I did a card that showed this background here. And actually I had a couple people ask me how I did it. So I'm going to show you that. And then I kind of did it with a different color here. And I'm going to kind of show you what I ended up doing. And then I came across another card and how I did it. This one I did the inside. So it is 5 pieces in the back. And I'll show you the die. It is called the mini medallion. Okay, so there's 5 rows and then there's 6 this way. Okay, so this is laid on here like this, and then you've got these other pieces here, these individual pieces that you could do, you know, other little pieces that you could add on top or as a part of or separate. It's just really cute. Like this would be a really cute inside. But what I did is I cut it down for this card and then I added a strip in here. So I'm going to kind of show you my process. We're going to kind of focus on this card, but I'm going to show you that background too. All right. So let me move the cards out of the way and I'll kind of show you what I did. First, we're going to start off with the messy part because we want it to dry. And I do have a dried piece, but I'm going to show you anyway. So again, I'm bringing out my mixed media mat that I like to use. And what I'm going to do is show you how I came up with the background. Super simple. I'm going to take some watercolored paper. And I'll probably do a couple of them. I hardly ever just do one, just because you're going to use it later for something. You can see here I did extras. And I did some circles. Let me show you. right here. I did a circle here, and then I decided that I wasn't that thrilled with the circle here because it goes up against here, so you can't see it. So we're going to do something different this time. But that's kind of where that came from. So I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to get a baby wipe out because I like to not get inky all over the place. All right, so what we're going to do, it's super simple, you guys. I take a little dish and some water, and I just pour some water in. If I'm not in screen, you guys, I can see my screen, but sometimes I get focused and I don't look down, so just let me know because I am glancing at the comments. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start first with these are the 3 colors that I used. The soft sea foam, which is really hard to see there, soft sea foam, the old olive, and the pretty peacock. So those are the ones I'll use. I always start with the lightest. And what I like to do is I take an acetate and I just kind of squish some color on there, not a lot. And we may need more, we'll see. And then I just take a brush and I wet it, so just an aqua brush, and wet it. Let me see here, hold on one second. Oops. All right, sorry, dropping stuff. So take whatever aqua water that you have, watering pen, and I just kind of add the water on here. And just kind of get the wetness that you want. And then I also spritz my paper a little bit. Okay, it's just water. And then I just kind of pick it up. And I need more than that. I want more green than that. So it's just also, I just find a dry spot. And now I just kind of bring it over. And you can bring up the corners. Okay, I just kind of, this is to me is the easiest way to do this type of background because it doesn't, if you don't have a lot of water on here, it just kind of sets the ink right on the paper, and I don't like that. So I just kind of go over it like this and then lift, and now you'll have these spots, and then just kind of do the way you want. And I use both sides, it doesn't matter, it's just plastic. It's not gonna hurt. Okay, and then let that dry. Okay, let's move on to this one. We're just gonna let that one dry. So just kind of put it on there. We've got more on this side. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe this off. And I'm gonna let the light colors dry. And then sometimes I just dab if it starts to puddle, but you can see where you're going to get, this is a really light color, so it's hard to tell. Okay, so we're going to let this dry a sec. I am going to put just a little more green on this one. I want more lighter color on this. So I just, again, stamp it, add a little water. A little water, I want more color, so we're going to do that. And again, if you get a spot that you want more, you can always use your brush. I just go through, pick it up. And now I'm going to spray it because you can see it's a little too clumpy for me. I want it a little more watered. I'm kind of running out of water. Okay, so now I'm just going to let these dry. I'm going to pull this one back in. I'm going to dry this up, and now I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to heat this with the heat gun real quick just for the video. We're just going to dry it. It's easier for me to use one color and go to the next, let it dry a little bit, because it's so easy to get it muddy, and you don't want it muddy. So it's dry enough for me. So now I'm going to pull out another color. I'm going to let that one sit. Actually, we're going to finish with the one because I've got one already done that's dry, so I'm not too worried about that. And so I just want to do another color. I'm going to go with the next darker color. And while I'm doing this, I'm also going to show you what I did to make my little turtle. So here's my turtle that I did. And you can see he's got some different colors in there. So what I did, so he's kind of at this point, I did my turtle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water. I add quite a bit. And at this point, I'm going to pull out my turtle also. And I'll show you what I did. So just take your water, and I just kind of make sure where you want, how much you have, and where you want that color on your turtle. So I did, and this is of course the watercolor, and I'll have all the supplies listed. All right, so just do your turtle, and I'm just kind of sloppily doing them because I'm just going to show you what I did. Now I want some green. Now that I'm doing them upside down, I want some green. I want his legs done and his arms. So remember, I want them a little darker because his little belly is darker. And so I'm kind of doing everything because I'm going to layer up some more colors, but this was the base color that I wanted. All right, so I'm good with that. And now I'm going to add some darker, and I'm just going to kind of set it in there. Now I embossed this because I like, if I'm doing watercoloring, I like to emboss if there's a lot of little areas like this. I want to be able to leave some color in there. So I'm picking up the darker area, and I just want the darker areas to kind of set there. And then you're going to see, because I'm going to go in with another color. So I'm just going to leave that for now. And we can just keep doing that. So let that dry up a little bit while we continue on with our card base. So we're just going to set this here and leave our little turtle to dry a bit. Now we have quite a bit of this. And so I kind of mix it up, and here's another way I like to do it. I like to just drop it on and let it sit. Okay, so there's some spots there, and I just kind of let it set, because if you look here, you can leave little puddles, and it just gives it that much more color. And you can cut flowers out or leaves or all kinds of things. So usually when I'm doing something like this, I do a lot of them at one time, because to me, it's just easier. You've got the mess going, just let it go and start making a bunch of these. I have a bucket just full of watercolor stuff and alcohol inks and just whatever, and I can just go through and pick some stuff out. So this is what I like to do, and I'll probably pull this one back in. It's still a little damp, but I'm okay grabbing something like that. Now we're just going to let that sit now. All right, so now we can take this and just kind of move it around, but you can see where it's starting to stain in certain spots. So it's just whatever you're looking for. So those spots are kind of stained now. You can see they're a little different shade. So let me do a quick heat gun on this. And you can see where those colors are staying. And you can see where the lighter color is. So it's just all about what you're looking for. You can just keep layering and layering to get some different colors that you want. All right, so it's almost dry. So you see all the different layers there. So you've got the lighter layer, you've got the layer that was dark that we set down to sit there for a bit, and then the layer that we just kind of moved around. So now what I'm going to do is I want to add a little more over here. So I'm just going to pick that up and let it sit, and I'm good with that one. Now I want this one, I'm going to pick up over here, and I want the darker. And now I'm just going to let that one sit. So for me, I'm good with this. But see all this extra here? We could use on more paper. So that's why I like to just take a couple of sheets out. I cut them in half. They're perfect size to cut in half. It depends on what you're going to be using it for and if you want the whole sheet. All right. So I'm going to toss that one. And now what I did is I took the darkest color. I'm going to let those dry just a bit. And you can see how they start going to the edge. You could take a pen and just kind of hold it down and it'll settle straight. And now we're going to take the pretty peacock. Make sure that this is dry. And just put some there. You don't need a lot because obviously this is a really dark color. All right, so see how my turtle is doing? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I should have taken a little bit before we turned them, but I got rid of that color, but that's okay. He's got little petals still, but because they sat there, they filled in and they're a little darker. All right, so now I'm going to set him aside because I'm not done with him yet. And now we're going to take some more water and mix this up. Now, while we have concentrated color and some water, I'm just going to be dropping some drops in here. I want his little tortoise shell to have a lot of color. And you just need to drop it in and then just leave it. Of course, the more there is, the darker it'll become. Make sure you have water. You don't want straight ink. You want it to be able to kind of just run fluidly. And I just add it until I'm happy. And I really like that color right there. So I'm good with him right there. I'm going to set him aside. And you can see when he's finished, it looks like I added some up above, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to image today. Oops, I went outside, and it's okay because I'm going to cut him. All right, so I just added my little bit of water, and now you can just set him aside to dry, and look at how pretty his shell is going to be later. All right, so we're going to set that aside, but now we still have our papers here that we want to do, so let's add more water. And this is fun to do at the beginning. You want your papers to dry, and I like this color. I'm going to add a bit of water because I don't want it to saturate, but okay, so this is all it really is you could just pick this up. This one's got a lot of water, so what I'm going to do is dump some off and dump some over here in different spots. All right, and I'm going to bring this back in, and now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to go like that and lift it up. This one has some more solid spots, which is okay. I just don't want them that dark. So you water it down a bit. And so it's just, I mean, everything is going to come out looking different. Some you'll like better, some you won't like as much. It's just a matter of let it dry, add another color, let it dry, add another color. So let me just dry these really quick and we'll move on. And you'll be surprised. You might think, oh, this is not what I wanted. And then you'll come back in and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Or it's going to be a perfect background for later. It could be, you could add more colors and make it ocean water, or the backside of a tortoise for something else, or a fish, or greenery in an ocean, or there's all kinds of things you can do with this. So when you think it might not be what you want, and then you're going to come back in and you're going to be like, oh man, I really like how that turned out. Because sometimes I've thrown stuff in the trash and thought, oh, that just looks awful. I would never use it. And then I'll find it later, or I'll see it the next day, and I'm like, oh, you know what I could use that for? And then you find a use for it. So don't throw it away. Put it aside. You'll probably love it later. All right. So let me just clean this up a bit. We're going to just move all of these over just like this out of the way. So these are for another time, but you get the idea. That's how you do it. Just something quick and simple. So the thought on this card is just to kind of give you an idea of the different ways I came up with what I did. So I'm going to show you on the very first card what I did and how I came up with this. So you're going to get yourself a piece of shimmer white paper is the best thing to do. Shimmer white paper. You want to make sure you have paper underneath you, and I'm going to double this up here just because playing with ink can get messy. And then what I did is I took a baby wipe. I love this technique. It's so fast and so quick. And oops, wrong color. I took Blueberry Bushel, which I really, really like, and it is leaving. It is retiring. So if you have the color, you might want to get your refill. If you don't have the color, it is a gorgeous color. So let me get my baby wipe. So this is what I did. Now, the reason I use the shimmer paper, it is a little, I don't know if it just has like a little coating on it or what it does, but it lasts when you put like more paper, water on it than the regular paper, like the Whisper White. It looks like my thing was spinning. I want to make sure I'm still here. So what you do is you just go back and forth and do it as dark as you want it. And don't worry about the streaks on the light. So then I just moved forward just with your baby wipe, and you can just keep making it as dark as you want. And then I just try to turn it. And I just keep putting the color on. Look at what a beautiful color this is. Oh, I just can't believe it's leaving. All right. Now, I just turn this over, kind of inside. I'm going to close this one up, and I pulled out the old olive. And now I take the old olive, go back and forth. Get the color that you want on it. It's going to be a background. It's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. And get it as dark as you want it. I just kind of blend the lines a little bit, which is okay if this gives a different color. Okay, so this is kind of wet now. So I just let it sit, and it's okay that you've done these. You could just kind of even them out if you wanted. It looks like you used 3 colors, and that is perfectly okay. All right. So now what I did is I took your Wink Stella, and this one's wet, so I'm going to let it dry, but it'll dry up and look like this. So we'll move this one over. And so I took the Wink Stella, and I just splattered. You want to get it down into your barrel, and then just splatter it, like just tap it like this, and hold this like this and tap it, and you'll get your splatters all over. So this one is dry. So I'm going to run my mini medallion and this, and you guys are going to see how amazing this cuts. So I just kind of center it. Oh, let me make sure it's centered here. There we go. And I'm going to run it through. So here's my little turtle. He's done. Because it's an intricate die, I'm going to run it through 2 times just to make sure that it's cut really well. Thank you for everyone joining me. I'm going to just click on real quick and make sure that yep, we're good. All right. So here we go. Let me move that out of the way. Look at that. Look how clean that came out. I'm going to put that back here. I'll put this away. When I first got this die, it comes with, I'll show you what the bundle is. It comes with mini mates, which is a really great set with a lot of sentiments. And I really wanted this, and when I saw this, I thought, oh, that would be kind of cool, but I was really wanting the stamp set. But I really am happy with this, and I can't wait to finish showing you all the things that I've done with it so far. All right, so here we go. This cleans out really nice. I don't have my mat. I'm going to have to order another one because I can't find mine. It's probably 10 years old, and I have no idea where it's at. Maybe not quite that old, but it's old. I've had it forever. All right. Well, you can see they're all coming out. And what doesn't come out, we have the pokey tool to use. But if I had the mat, I would guarantee these would all come out because they are just falling out. I just have to get to them. But I wanted you to see how nice they come out. And they just all are falling right out. So I'm not going to be putting this card together, so I just want to show you. But what I ended up doing, but look at all these. They just come right out. What I ended up doing with this is I made this turtle card. This was my first card when I did the full background. And then I liked it so much, I thought, ooh, this would go great with the turtle. So I did it with the peacock and the olive green. And then I did my turtle. Then I decided, but I liked this color a lot. And so this one is the peacock. This one was the bushel one, the one I just did. Blueberry bushel? Yes, blueberry bushel. So what I did with this is I cut 2 of them off and I made this card. And then I took the inside and I glued one here. Okay, so there's 3. So now I had 2 left over, all right? So then, let me get this out of the way. So as I'm getting ready to make my second card, and this is the cute little stamp set from the turtle. As I'm getting ready to make the second card, I said, okay, well, now I only have 2 left because I did 2 on the outside here, and then I did 1 on the inside. So that I need another one. So what I ended up doing is I decided to, and I was going to put this card together, right? And then I decided I wanted to show you all of this. What I did is I took a piece of vellum. Okay, so now my card is made. My turtle card is completely made, all right? So now I have 2 pieces left, and I was going to do another card. So then I thought, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, I'll make a stencil. So I took this and I made a vellum piece. So let me run that through. Because once I did this, I ended up with several more ideas with this. And you can hear how this cracks. It's great. It just cuts really well. And then, so now I needed the bottom piece. And so I made it for the turtle, but I ended up not putting it on the turtle card because I decided I was going to use that for the video. But I made this bottom, and it's a stencil. Okay, so what I did is I took, let's do this again. I took this off. This pokey tool, pickup tool is so great. All right, so I just went ahead and leaving it on here is what I should have done with the first one since I don't have my mat, but it's okay. It works. All right, so I took this off and I have this vellum piece. And I have to say that Stampin' Up! Vellum is so nice because it just really breaks it apart. It's thick. So I've tried doing vellum templates before to do type like a template or stencil, and it just doesn't work very well. And so when I did it here, it just seems like it was thicker and it was easier to use. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and do this whole thing, but you get the idea. So what I ended up doing, and this is kind of what I wanted to show you, how I kept going another step and another step, is I used this as a stencil. So I'll just show you. So I had a piece of white paper, regular white paper. You don't need glimmer paper. I mean shimmer paper. So you just take this and you put it on here. And what I did for the bottom of the card, let's just say this is the bottom of the card, of the inside of your card. I just took a piece of tape and I just put this where I wanted it. So I just kind of aligned it all the way across like that. And then I took my brushes and I did the green first. And what I ended up doing is I did the sea foam, the soft sea foam, because you can layer it up and do it as dark as you want. And I just picked a few spots like that, and that's it. And then I chose my next color, so I'm going to use Pretty Peacock because that's what I'm going to use on my next turtle card that I've used on here. And then I took my blue and I just kind of went over it like this, and then I lift it up, and then there's the bottom of my card. Now, so that was one idea, to use it as a stencil. Oh, I didn't go all the way right there, but that's okay. That's for the stencil. Then I saw how pretty it looked like this. So then I just kind of held it down and I took some blue and I just kind of randomly put it on there, and you can put it as dark as you want. And just put your blue where you want it. And then take your green and come back in, and you can just color your whole stencil. So there's the back of the stencil with the different, with the green and the blue. And I didn't do it super dark, but here I did it darker so you can kind of see. So then here is the different, the backgrounds here. And so what I did is I embossed a white piece underneath so that this would really pop up so that you could see this. And even though this is the focal point up here, I just thought this was so pretty. It just kind of looked like a lattice or something that you have, you know, your greenery on. And it just looked really pretty to me. So I liked that, you know, you can start with one idea and then just keep playing with it. Like I said, I got to the bottom and I was like, now what am I going to do for the inside of the card? And then that's when I decided I was going to stencil. And then once I stenciled, I really liked this look. And you could do that on the whole background if you wanted on something like this. But then when I saw the vellum, I was like, okay, now I'm going to do the vellum. And this vellum is nice and thick. It really is great to work with because there's so much you can do. Like this, you can still keep going darker and darker. I'm not getting more ink on it right now, but you could just keep, you know, do your green and your blue, and then just kind of keep making your pieces. So you could just keep going with this, and there's so much you can do with a background. Let's see if I can find a solid color. Here we go. So there you go with a background. and it just gives you that much more dimension and just another idea that you can use for these cards. So my turtle's drying, so we're just going to take this one. And like I said, I would just cut this down. I took a paper trimmer and I just went straight right up against the edge here. And I left this part to be my top part. So you could see this part and this along the edge down here. So you can see what I did here. And so these are the different cards. Let me pull this up here. So this is the card I started with. And you can see the background there was very bold. I wanted that bold. I did that with the baby wipes. And you can just line that up and make that as bold as you want. And it dries fairly quickly. And once I did that, I wanted an inside. And so I decided to do the turtle card. And that's when I got to the turtle, and I did the two here on the turtle, and then I did the inside. So that was 3, leaving 2. And then I was like, my poor 2 has no inside. And then that's when I started using it as a stencil, and then on the inside, and then I did the vellum. So here is a list of some of the products. Like I said, the blueberry bushel is retiring. That is an in color that is retiring this year. The pretty peacock is another one of my favorites, and it goes so well with the new Forever Fern set on this last card that I showed you, that Forever Fern set. And that is retiring next year. So you'll have the pretty peacock for another year. But the blueberry bushel, among some other gorgeous colors, are leaving. So those will be gone, and you won't be able to get those. So this is a list of supplies. It's also listed in the bottom of my YouTube. So you'll see those there. I wanted to let you know that we have a hostess code when you purchase. There's the hostess code and my website. You can go to my blog there and you can shop directly from there. You can look at the current catalog from there. The new catalog will be posted as soon as I'm able to post it on my blog. So if you go there, make sure you subscribe, and then that way you will get notification when I upload to that. And I would really appreciate if you could subscribe and like this video if you've learned anything or enjoyed the video. And you will also get notified when I do live videos. I know right now I am scheduled to do live videos on Sundays. Tuesdays and Sundays is when I'm doing my live videos. But I am going to be jumping on now and again to do videos, because sometimes I have a video that I want to do or something I want to share, but it doesn't really necessarily go with what I'm going to be doing that next day. Or I've had people ask me how to do something, and I'd like to be able to just jump on and show it and do it for them and not have to worry about waiting until Tuesday or Sunday. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you supporting me and coming and viewing my videos. If you could share my video and share my links with my blog, my YouTube, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my audience, and I'd like to share what I know and what I've learned. I love to pass it on and teach others. So I have a lot of fun doing that, and I appreciate you stopping by. Here are, again, my social media sites. I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks a lot, and I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you Sunday, if not before then. Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great day.